Hey everybody, welcome to CastorsCorner.com. I'm your host Khalil. Welcome back to another live toy of the day. So glad you guys can join us today. And today's toy of the day is actually a follow-up to yesterday's toy of the day. Like I said, I was not planning on getting these Clone Wars figures. I really wasn't. I went through the whole story yesterday, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it today. But I had a moment today that I bought the figure out of spite. I know, sounds kind of funny. I spent $24. Thank you, Bill, by the way, and I'll explain that in a minute. Out of spite. So, like I said, part of this channel is we're gonna talk about this guy, Anakin, from the Clone Wars figures, and what happened today. Because I'm not a fan of Anakin Skywalker. I don't think he was well written in the prequels. I don't necessarily have a problem with Hayden Christensen, but I think the choices they made with him did not emote power. And I guess that might be why I also didn't like Kylo Ren, because the more I think about it, Kylo Ren is very similar. And I know that that's a hot button topic, that everybody loves Anakin and everybody loves Kylo Ren. But I always felt that they were controlling and abusive and bullies. And so the character never really resonated with me. I liked the underdog. I liked the sly, tricky rogue that Han Solo was. I liked who Ben Kenobi was in the sequels and in the original trilogy and the prequels. God. I liked Rey. I liked Finn. I liked the characters as they were, but there's something about Anakin and Kylo that really just made me like cringe or gave me the chills, like just not in a good way. And I understand there's a lot of love for them. I mean, if we want to go into creepy, weird people that are involved with women, there's Twilight. I put Twilight and Kylo Ren and Anakin Skywalker all in the same kind of boat of weird, creepy guys that are somewhat semi-abusive to their partners. And so, I had a really big problem with, I think I own one Anakin Skywalker, but that is not the spite that drew me to buying this figure. So this morning, I kind of wanted the Clone Troopers. I kind of want Hawk and I kind of want Echo, even though they're show accurate for Clone Wars, but they're not show accurate for the Bad Batch. I'd rather Bad Batch Echo than a Clone Wars one. So I went looking for those. And I drove to, and I'm putting this all out there, I drove to Meriden Target, that's close to me on the way into work. I had enough time to stop at one store. And as I was going to enter the store, our friend Ben, hi Ben, I know you're going to watch this at some point, was in the parking lot and waved to me and stopped me. And I said, hey, did you get anything? And he goes, nah, there's nothing in there. There's nothing to get. And I said, oh, they didn't have anything? He goes, no, they got them. They just won't sell them to me. I said, that's really weird. So he explained, he goes, he went in, couldn't find anybody working toys, found somebody in the electronics section or close to it, had them scan it. The guy went in the back. He said, yes, we have them. We have, at that time we thought they had all of them. So that would have been 12 Anakins, 6 Hawks, and 6 Echoes. So it's that 24 figures. And so, but he wouldn't bring them out. He said, you have to come back at noon. And I've never heard that before. I've never heard come back at noon. I've heard come back at open, one per person, but never come back at an arbitrary time during the middle of the day for stock that isn't a vendor stock. So baseball cards, in Pokemon, which is a whole nother story. So I just, I stood in the parking lot for a couple minutes. I talked to Ben for a few minutes and I said, well, I'm going to drive to North Haven. I said, I've got a half day today. So on my way home, I'll pick up food at Target. I'll stop here. I'll get the figures I want. I'll be all good. And so drive to work, stopped at North Haven Target here in Connecticut. On my way into work, stopped, checked it. Nothing was there. They didn't have anything in the back. Couldn't find anybody in the section but they have the price scanners that you can see what they have for stock. So they showed zeros for Anakin. I know Bill and Ben were looking for Anakin, and that's all I had time for. So I left. Got to work, did work, work day was going, doing all my stuff. And then I get a text message from Ben. He called Target to just double check, and they had sold through all the figures, and the only thing left was one Anakin Skywalker. And this was at 10:30 in the morning, 2 hours after we inquired and were told to come back at noon. I don't have a problem with them being at the electronics counter. I don't have a problem with one per customer. I don't have a problem with them being at customer service. I don't have a problem with having an on-sale time or date. Street dates are there. They're arbitrary at Target. 9 times out of 10, they actually are fake, made up by the Target system, because the Target system doesn't know how inventory works. And they price check against other retailers. And if Amazon says they're shipping on the 1st, then Target makes that the street date. They're not real people. Only movie product really has street date. Everything else is open to interpretation. I don't have a problem with that, though. If that's the way they're going to do it, fine. I'll wait for the street date, but make sure it's out on the street date. I don't mind if you have to request the stock. It's not just out on the shelf so people can't grab 10 of them, because nobody watches self-checkout. So if they put them out on the shelf, it doesn't matter if they say one per person. Somebody can come in with 12 and buy all 12. What I had a problem with was asking multiple times. Ben asked a few people. They all said, come back at 12. And so an hour and a half later, for them to sell out of all said figures, something shady's going there. There's no doubt about it. Something is wrong that they could go through that many figures in that short amount of time when 3 people inquired. I think Bill inquired as well. So with the 3 of us inquiring about figures, being told come back at noon, if we went back at noon, there'd be nothing there. So Bill decided, well, the hell with that. I'm going to drive up. And he drove to Windsor, which is probably about an hour in the opposite direction. Got himself one and got me one. Now, I like the figure. I think it's a good figure. I think it's well done. My joints are a little bit loose. His ankles, I don't know if you can tell, but like very easily bend to pressure, which means if he's standing on my shelf, he tends to dive. He tends to fall forward, which isn't great, right? It's not a great thing, but the sculpt is really good. I think this looks, honestly, more like Tom Holland. I don't know if you can see it very well. I think that looks more like Tom Holland than Anakin Skywalker. And I know the animated wasn't supposed to look exactly like Hayden Christensen, but like that is by no means, that is Ewan McGregor. That is not in any way, shape, or form Hayden Christensen. It actually also looks like, and I apologize. Ben. Hi, Ben. Ben just texted me. Hey, I checked eBay and found a seller from Meriden with 3 Clone Wars Anakins, Echoes, and Hawks for sale. So if there was a question whether or not there's something shady going on at Target, there's a good example. I mean, we haven't seen Echoes and Hawks available locally, and I wonder if that's why. So I think that's a really good litmus. Live breaking news on the podcast. What I was going to look up was the actor, and I want to make sure I get his name right. Clone Wars, Star Wars Clone Wars. Who is Matt Lanter from Timeless, voices Anakin. And I think he does a good job. And I actually think that looks like Matt too. I think that looks more like him or Tom Holland than it does that looks like Hayden Christensen. The other thing is his lightsaber does come apart just like Obi-Wan, so you can store it on the belt. The peg hole for this guy is a little bit big, the peg is a little bit big and the hole is a little bit small. So I actually have to widen that for it to stay in his belt. Otherwise, it just pops right off. So overall, success of this, Again, if you want to go through why we have exclusives, you can watch last night's review of Obi-Wan. He does have soft goods underneath. So this, I don't think Obi-Wan does not. Obi-Wan is 100% plastic. Anakin does have soft goods under his tunic, whatever wrap skirt here. The lower part is cloth, which is, I think, a nice touch too. Besides the loose joints, which, you know, your mileage is going to vary. Your figure may or may not have loose joints. It all has to do with the figure and how it's, you know, put together, including everything. Single elbows, single or double knees, single elbows, double knees, a little bit of loose joints, has a double neck, the barbell neck, so it has a little more range of motion. The more I posed him out, when I took him out of the package, he looked a little bit funky. Proportion seemed off. But once I posed him out, moved his arms a little bit, gave him a little more depth in how he's posed, I think he looks like a much better figure. And you can see from the pictures on the website, castorscorner.com, he looks really great with Ahsoka as well. So there's the story of the Clone Wars figures. Will I get a Hawk and Echo? I don't know. Hopefully my friends in Connecticut here, we work together really well in our Connecticut collecting group, helping each other out, finding toys when we can. Ben, Bill, Junior, Sean, JT, Chris, everybody. Sorry if I forgot your name. All the guys have done a really great job building this nice little community and helping each other out. Brian, I can't forget Brian, who is currently right now looking for Hawk and Echo for me. And so I have hope that my friends will find them for me. The hope that I will find them myself, like zero. Like, really, it's ridiculous that we have to play these games. So, and I really resent Target for putting us through it. I expect less from Walmart. Target has a much better inventory system, and typically employees that know more about products and in the back and in the front. So they have given us in the past a higher caliber of customer service. So to really see this decrease, and it's not because of COVID, I can tell you that 100%. It's not because of the pandemic. This trend was happening before. And to see this decrease in quality of customer service, I think, is the most frustrating thing. And us as toy collectors have no other option but to shop there. And I think that that is the worst part, because they don't care whether somebody comes in and scoops up 12 of them, or if one per person happens. And that's the problem that we're dealing with right now. So hopefully I will find the last 2 Clone War figures and be able to show them to you. If not, we will start our look at the new Marvel Legends. We've got the Red Guardian pack coming. We've got She-Hulk on the way. We've got the bad guys in the other room right now. I'm checking them out, playing with them, posing them, just, you know, getting a feel for them. We've got Mezco Wonder Woman coming. We've got a lot more stuff to talk about. I got that Boba Fett up there, that vintage card that's got to get cracked open. But I'm saving him for a special occasion. So thank you guys for watching us. Head over to castorscorner.com for a full gallery of Anakin and Obi-Wan. You can check out last night's. You can check out our full archive. Head over to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Give us a follow. We were at Kastor's Corner. Check out the Cornercast podcast every Monday night. This week with our friend MCU Collector. And what else? Oh, yeah, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. The more of you that subscribe, the better the community gets, to be honest with you. But seriously, like, the more of you that subscribe, the more cool things we get to do, and then we get to share them with you. And that is the most fun part of this, to share these stories, to tell these stories, and to let you know you're not alone out there. There's a lot of us that collect toys, and I'm happy to be able to share this journey on day 157. I never thought I'd get there. We are 23 days, 3 weeks. God, 3 weeks away from 6 months. That's insane. So join us tomorrow night. Probably going to be Marvel Legends for another toy of the day here on castorscorner.com. And remember, go to castorscorner.com to find everything about us and check out our past archives. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night.